There is a reason you can read all the books, repeat all the affirmations, and still feel unsure of yourself. Because confidence is not built by trying to become someone else. It is born the moment you stop apologizing for who you already are. Sometimes we mistake confidence for performance. We think it means speaking louder, standing taller, achieving more, but real confidence is quiet. It is not the voice that says, "Look at me." It is the calm knowing that whispers, "I am enough." If you have ever walked into a room and felt small, this is for you. If you've compared yourself until you couldn't breathe, if you've hidden your ideas because you feared judgment, if you've smiled when you wanted to speak, this message was written for you. You will never feel confident by fixing your flaws. You will feel confident by no longer treating them as crimes. Confidence is not perfection polished, it is self-acceptance practiced. Imagine waking one morning and realizing you no longer shrink. You look in the mirror, meet your own eyes, and see kindness instead of criticism. You dress not to hide but to express. You walk into the world unhurried, unashamed. That is the dream outcome of real confidence, peace that no one can give or take. Now picture the opposite, another day of pretending, another conversation where you rehearse approval, another moment where silence wins because you fear being seen. That is the nightmare of false confidence. It looks brave but feels hollow. Confidence built on comparison collapses. The kind built on self-approval lasts forever. You cannot fake your way into peace. You must accept your way into it. You may think, but if I stop striving, won't I lose my drive? No, true confidence doesn't dull ambition. It refines it. It turns achievement from desperation into joy. It stops you from chasing proof and teaches you to create from love. Look at the women who finally accepted themselves. Their energy changed before their lives did. People began listening. Opportunities began opening. They didn't earn confidence. They remembered it, because real confidence is not learned. It's uncovered. Consider the cost of staying stuck. Every time you criticize yourself, your body contracts. Your energy dims. You abandon your own brilliance before anyone else has the chance. Now, confidence cannot grow where self-attack still lives. But healing does not need to be hard. You don't have to become a different person. You simply begin by approving of yourself right here, right now. Say softly, "I approve of myself." That is not arrogance, it's alignment with truth. Each time you say it, your cells remember balance. The nervous system calms, the voice of doubt grows quieter. Confidence is not something you build, it's something you reveal by removing everything that says you shouldn't shine. There is ease in this practice. You no longer need to push or prove. You stop chasing compliments because your peace no longer depends on being chosen. You realize that life reflects your self-opinion. When you respect yourself, others follow suit. Think of your timeline. In the past, confidence meant pleasing others. In the present, it means pleasing your soul. And in the future, it will mean freedom, the kind that lets you walk into any room and know you belong there, without question. Every child is born confident. They laugh loudly, dance clumsily, speak freely. Then the world teaches them to behave, to please, to fear mistakes. Confidence doesn't vanish. It gets buried under the weight of others' opinions. Today, you start unburying it. Forgive yourself for the years you believed you were less. Forgive the times you kept quiet to stay safe. You were protecting your heart the only way you knew how. But now you are safe enough to live differently, to let your light be seen. When you stop judging yourself, your entire energy changes. You stand taller, not because you're trying, but because you're no longer collapsing under guilt. You speak with ease because you finally trust your own voice. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear no longer defines you. You can feel nervous and still act with love. You can feel unsure and still move forward. You can speak even when your voice shakes, because truth is worth trembling for. Start each morning with this: I approve of myself. Say it until the words stop sounding strange and start sounding sacred. Your confidence grows in the space between those repetitions. People will notice. They will sense your calm, your steadiness. They'll listen differently, speak differently, stand differently around you, because you now model what wholeness looks like. That is the power of quiet confidence. Sometimes life will test you. Old patterns will whisper, "Who do you think you are?" Smile and answer, "Someone who loves herself." That is the real secret behind confidence. Self-approval louder than doubt. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards authenticity. When you honor yourself, life responds in kind. Doors open, not because you force them, but because your energy knocks softly and truthfully. So tonight, when you lay your head down, whisper, "I approve of myself. I am safe to be me. I am loved, even in my becoming." And when you wake, repeat it before your first thought turns fearful, because the first thought of the day writes the story of the day. The story you are writing now is no longer one of proving. It is one of remembering. You will never feel confident by trying to be flawless. You will feel confident the moment you decide that who you are right now is worthy of love. That is the real secret behind confidence. Approval, not perfection. And the moment you say, "I approve of myself," your healing begins. So many people spend their lives chasing confidence as if it were a prize, a costume to be earned after perfection is achieved. They believe that one more accomplishment, one more compliment, one more victory will finally make them feel worthy. But true confidence is not a performance. It is a quiet, loving knowing of one's own worth. We have been taught that confidence looks loud, that it stands tall, takes up space, and never doubts. But confidence does not need to announce itself. It moves softly, like grace. It does not say, "Look at me." It says, "I am here," and that is enough. Real confidence feels like calm breathing. From childhood, we learn comparison before self-acceptance. We are told to be better, smarter, prettier, faster. We are rarely told, "You are good as you are." So we begin performing. We measure our value through others' reactions. We learn to hide our insecurities behind smiles that ache to be real. Each comparison is a small betrayal of the self. Every time we look outward for approval, we leave our inner home. Confidence built on comparison collapses easily because its foundation depends on unstable opinions. You cannot stand tall on someone else's approval. The mind whispers, "If they love me, I am worthy." But love that must be earned through performance is never peace. It is fear disguised as ambition. The moment their praise fades, the fear returns. True confidence does not rise and fall with applause. It is steady like sunlight beneath clouds. We mistake activity for assurance. We strive harder, achieve more, collect titles and proof. Yet no accomplishment can replace inner approval. You can win the world's attention and still feel invisible to yourself. The emptiness of achievement without self-love echoes louder than failure. Confidence has nothing to do with proving worth. It is simply knowing worth. You cannot convince yourself into peace. You must allow it. The thought, "I am enough," is not a slogan. It is the truth waiting beneath years of disbelief. The need for approval drains our power because it hands our peace to others. We bend, shrink, and adapt to keep love. Every time we apologize for who we are, we reinforce the lie that our authenticity is too much. But love, real love, asks for no disguise. Society often celebrates noise over authenticity. It teaches performance as protection: speak louder, smile wider, shine harder. Yet all that brightness becomes exhausting when it's built on fear. You can't shout over self-doubt, you must heal it. Confidence is not found by adding more layers. It is uncovered by removing what never belonged. Remove the thought that you must please to be loved. Remove the belief that worth must be proven. Beneath all that noise lies a calm, beautiful certainty. You are already enough. When you were a child, you did not question your right to laugh, to dance, to take up space. You did not look into the mirror searching for flaws. You simply existed in joy. That was your natural confidence, unpracticed, effortless, pure. It never left you. It only became buried under judgment. Each time you say, I am not enough, you rehearse a lie. Each time you say, I must earn love, you forget that love is your birthright. The sense of not enough is not who you are. It is a thought that was handed to you. You can hand it back now. Confidence is remembering the truth after years of forgetting. You were born worthy, and no achievement can improve upon that. No mistake can erase it. No opinion can touch it. The only thing that can hide it is your disbelief. The world does not teach this truth easily. It teaches striving, comparison, competition. It rewards exhaustion and calls it success. But I tell you, confidence grows not through competition, but through compassion. You cannot fight your way to peace. You must love your way there. The voice of inadequacy lives in habit, not reality. It repeats until it feels true. But every time you question it, its volume lowers. Every time. You choose kindness instead of criticism, that voice weakens. You have more power over it than you realize. Confidence is gentle. It does not rush. It does not shout. It does not beg to be seen. It is a state of quiet recognition. I am good, and I am growing. You can whisper this truth to yourself, and it will carry further than any boast could. Look at the people you admire for their strength, the ones who walk with calm, who smile easily, who do not compete. Their secret is not perfection, it is presence. They have made peace with themselves. Their calmness is self-trust made visible. You may believe that confidence requires fearlessness, but it does not. Real confidence walks hand in hand with vulnerability. It says, I may tremble, but I will still speak. It says, I may not know what comes next, but I trust myself to handle it. Each time you honor your truth, even in small ways, you strengthen your confidence. Every honest word, every boundary lovingly spoken, every act of self-kindness is a brick in the foundation of inner peace. You are rebuilding your home from the inside out. The outer world may still ask for performance. It may still reward noise. But once you taste the peace of authenticity, pretending becomes impossible. You no longer wish to impress, you wish to express. You no longer chase applause, you offer presence. The illusion of confidence is heavy. The reality of it is light. The mask exhausts. Authenticity restores. When you stop seeking perfection, energy returns to joy. The self you tried to edit away becomes the very source of your strength. Each apology for existing steals a little more freedom. Each time you say, I'm sorry for being me, you dim your own light. You were not born to apologize for existing. You were born to share, to shine, to contribute to life's wholeness. So take a breath now and say quietly, I have nothing to prove. Feel how your shoulders drop when you say it. That relief you feel, that peace is confidence remembering itself. The journey back to confidence is not about becoming louder or braver. It is about becoming honest. It is saying, this is me without shame. It is choosing calm instead of performance. It is realizing you were never broken, only misinformed. Confidence, like love, is your natural state. You lose it only when you forget. You rediscover it every time you approve of yourself, every time you rest instead of criticize, every time you listen inward instead of outward. You were born knowing your worth. You may have forgotten, but forgetting does not destroy truth, it only hides it. Confidence never leaves. It waits patiently under the noise, ready to be remembered the moment you stop apologizing for being you. There comes a moment in every healing journey when you must decide, will I continue to judge myself for what I was, or will I begin to approve of who I am? That decision changes everything. Judgment closes the heart. Approval opens it. Where judgment condemns, love restores. Most of us have practiced judgment so long that it feels natural. We criticize before we breathe. We wake and scan ourselves for what is wrong. We repeat old phrases taught by fear. I should have done better. I failed. I disappointed again. But none of these words belong to love. Judgment and guilt are the greatest thieves of confidence. They create a knot inside the chest where joy cannot move. The spirit cannot sing in a mind that keeps score. Confidence is not born from perfection. It grows in the soil of forgiveness. When I began my own healing, I discovered that the most radical act was not discipline, it was approval. To look in the mirror and say, I approve of myself. The first time I said it, my mind argued. It listed every reason I didn't deserve approval. But I kept repeating it until truth felt louder than habit. You may think, how can I approve of myself when I still make mistakes? But approval does not mean denying growth. It means loving yourself while you grow. You cannot bloom by scolding the seed. The flower opens under warmth, not judgment. Every time you say, I approve of myself, something in you exhales. The tension built from years of criticism begins to soften. The nervous system listens to every thought, and it cannot tell the difference between inner words and outer reality. When you speak kindly, your body believes you are safe. Try placing a hand over your heart now. Feel the warmth there. Say quietly, I am on my own side now. That sentence alone begins to heal the split between who you are and who you think you should be. The heart does not want perfection. It wants permission to rest. Approval feels strange at first because we have practiced disapproval for decades. The mind resists. It calls approval arrogance, selfishness, or fantasy, but those are only the defenses of fear. Love is not conceited. It is truthful. It is the only thing that sees you clearly. When you approve of yourself, you reclaim authority over your life. You no longer hand your peace to others' opinions. You no longer chase validation from those who cannot see you. Confidence rises quietly because the war within is ending. Life always responds to self-approval. When you approve of yourself, you change the energy you send into the world. Opportunities find you because peace is magnetic. People soften around you because they feel you're calm. You stop forcing and start allowing. Approval is the end of struggle. It does not remove effort. It removes resistance. You still act, you still create, but you do so from joy instead of fear. The same work done in love multiplies its blessings, while work done in self-rejection multiplies exhaustion. The body heals under approval. Muscles release, digestion improves, sleep deepens. The body recognizes self-love as safety. When the mind stops attacking, the body stops defending. Health is not only in food or movement, it is in the words we think about ourselves. Try beginning your morning with this practice. Before you reach for your phone, before you remember your to-do list, whisper, I approve of myself. Say it before you know whether the day will go well. Approval is not a reward for performance. It is your foundation. If you forget and slip into criticism, begin again. The miracle of healing lies in repetition. What you repeat becomes real. For years you rehearsed self-attack. Now you are rehearsing peace. It may take time, but love has infinite patience. When you approve of yourself, your inner child, the small self who longed for love, finally feels seen. She no longer has to act perfect to feel safe. She can laugh again, make mistakes again, rest again. That freedom is what confidence truly feels like. Approval does not make you blind to your faults. It allows you to correct them gently. When you love yourself, you guide yourself kindly. You say, this behavior no longer serves me, but I can learn. Growth without guilt becomes easy because you are no longer your own enemy. The ego will sometimes protest, if I stop judging, I'll become lazy. But love does not produce laziness. It produces inspiration. You work better when you feel valued. Flowers bloom when watered with care, not scorn. The same law applies to the human heart. Each act of approval rewires your mind. Slowly, you begin to believe that you deserve kindness. Your decisions change. You leave situations that no longer respect your worth. You attract people who mirror your peace. Approval creates a new pattern of living. The words, I approve of myself, may sound small, but they are seeds. Every repetition plants confidence deeper into the soil of consciousness. You may not see the blossom immediately, but the roots of peace are growing strong beneath the surface. Do not wait for others to validate this new way of being. Many will not understand at first. They may confuse your calm for pride. Let them. Your task is not to convince anyone. It is to live as your own ally. Confidence does not need to explain itself. It simply is. As you practice approval, guilt will begin to lose its grip. Guilt is the belief that you do not deserve happiness. But every time you approve of yourself, you teach your mind that joy is safe again. You remind yourself that love is not a luxury, it is your nature. Think of how a child responds when encouraged. She lights up, she tries again, she believes in her abilities. That is what your inner self does when you approve of her. Confidence grows not from pressure but from praise. You become strong by being supported from within. When self-approval becomes your habit, fear no longer controls you. You may feel fear, but it does not define your choices. You walk forward anyway, not because you are fearless, but because you trust yourself to meet whatever comes. Notice how your body responds to these truths. The jaw relaxes, the shoulders lower, the breath deepens. These are signs of alignment. The body always celebrates when the mind chooses love. Approval is not a thought, it is medicine. There will be days when the old voice returns, whispering its familiar criticism. Do not fight it. Fighting keeps it alive. Instead, acknowledge it and say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe now. Then return to the affirmation, I approve of myself. Confidence is born in that moment when you choose gentleness over guilt, compassion over control. That choice may seem small, but it changes everything. Because the energy of self-acceptance is the beginning of every miracle. Let us remember that arrogance and self-love are not the same. Arrogance shouts to cover insecurity. Self-love speaks quietly because it needs no defense. When you approve of yourself, you become both humble and strong, aware of your light without needing to prove it. People will feel the change. They will not always understand it, but they will sense it. Your calm presence will comfort others, not because you try, but because love naturally extends itself. When you heal, your very being becomes a sanctuary. Life mirrors your inner state faithfully. As you stop attacking yourself, life stops attacking you. The same people who once tested you will soften, or they will fade away. Circumstances that once drained you will transform. The world rearranges itself to match your self-opinion. Approval returns you to partnership with life. You no longer resist its rhythm. You no longer interpret every delay as punishment. You begin to trust that everything unfolds in right time. You stop needing to prove and start allowing to receive. Take a breath and whisper it now. I approve of myself. Feel how simple it is. There is no condition, no requirement, no comparison, only truth. That sentence is the key that unlocks the prison of judgment and leads you into freedom. You have punished yourself long enough for not knowing better. But now you do. You can begin again. You can forgive the years spent in self-attack and bless them for teaching you contrast. Without knowing pain, you would not recognize peace. When you approve of yourself, you join the universe in saying yes to life. You stop arguing with what is. You stop waiting for permission to shine. And in that openness, life rushes in to support you because you finally stopped pushing it away. Approval restores innocence. It brings you back to that childlike joy of being alive without reason. You do not have to earn your right to breathe, to exist, to enjoy. You already deserve all that life offers simply because you are here. Confidence built on self-approval cannot be shaken. It does not depend on looks, age, success, or praise. It lives within you, eternal and quiet. No one can give it, and no one can take it. The only requirement is your willingness to believe in your own goodness. So tonight, before sleep, place your hand on your heart and repeat softly, I approve of myself. Feel the rhythm beneath your palm and know that life agrees with you. Each beat is an echo of that truth. You are on your own side now, and that is where all healing begins. Every time you choose self-approval over self-attack, you gather back your power. You no longer wait to be chosen, you choose yourself. That is the turning point, the moment you step out of judgment and into love. And from there, everything changes. Every feeling of insecurity begins somewhere. Beneath every doubt is a memory. Beneath every fear, a story once believed to be true. These stories began in childhood, when we were small and eager to please, when love seemed to depend on being good enough, quiet enough, perfect enough. We did not know that love could never be earned. We thought affection came as a prize for compliance. We learned to read others' moods like weather forecasts, adjusting ourselves to keep peace. But in that constant adjusting, we lost our natural ease, the simple joy of being. Perhaps someone once said, don't be so loud, or why can't you be more like them? Perhaps they meant no harm, but the words planted seeds. The child within heard, I am wrong as I am. And from that day you tried to correct what was never broken. These old stories live in the body. They show up as tension in the shoulders, as hesitation in the voice, as a stomach that tightens when you speak your truth. The body remembers every moment you silenced yourself to stay safe. But the body also remembers how to heal through kindness. You cannot hate yourself into freedom. You cannot punish a wound into wholeness. Healing begins when you stop judging the self that was only trying to survive. Every time you scold yourself for being afraid, you repeat the old pattern of rejection. Love is the only language your heart understands. I often say, the child within you did not need fixing. She needed comfort. The woman or man you have become can now give that comfort. Close your eyes, see that younger self, before you shy, uncertain, trying so hard to be good. Tell them you did your best. You are safe now. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is no longer using the past as a weapon against yourself. It is laying down the burden of blame. The people who shaped your fear were themselves afraid. They could not give what they had not learned. You can release them and free yourself. When you forgive, you do not excuse behavior, you end bondage. You stop reliving what already happened. You recognize that no one can hurt you in memory except the thoughts you repeat. Let those thoughts rest now. You have carried them long enough. Place a hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Feel how it rises to meet you, even after all the years you doubted it. That rhythm is the sound of survival. Your heart has never stopped believing in you. It has waited patiently for you to believe in it. Confidence grows not from conquering fear, but from understanding it. Fear is not your enemy. It is a signal that you have forgotten love for a moment. It is love's shadow. When fear arises, say gently, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe now." The body carries every story the mind refuses to release. Shoulders curve under invisible judgment. Breath shortens when old guilt stirs. Yet when you begin to speak kindly to yourself, the body listens. It straightens, it softens, it rejoices in its freedom. Every sigh is a small release. Every tear is a baptism. The body cleanses itself when you allow emotions to move. Cry if you must, laugh if you can. Both are forms of healing. Both are ways the soul exhales. We often believe that self-criticism keeps us improving, but it only keeps us imprisoned. You cannot grow in a climate of fear. Growth happens naturally when love provides safety. The moment you accept yourself, change becomes effortless, not forced. Think of a garden. Flowers do not bloom because they scold themselves for being seeds. They bloom because the sun shines and the soil welcomes them. You too bloom through warmth. Self-approval is your sunlight. Forgiveness is your rain. There was a time when you blamed yourself for not knowing better. You replayed old choices, saying, "If only I had been wiser, stronger, braver." But every choice was made with the understanding you had then. You cannot judge the child by the wisdom of the adult. Every lesson you learned was preparation. Every mistake, a teacher in disguise. Even those who hurt you served to awaken your strength. What once felt like betrayal now becomes initiation, the point where you decided you would no longer abandon yourself. I remember realizing that healing was not about erasing the past, but about befriending it. When I said, "I forgive myself," something inside me relaxed. It was as if an old door opened. Behind it was peace, patient, waiting, unchanged by time. Forgiveness does not happen all at once. It comes in layers, like petals unfolding. Each layer brings more light. Some days you may still feel the ache of old wounds. That is not failure. That is healing continuing its gentle work. If you wish, use a mirror for this practice. Look into your eyes. Really look. Say softly, "You are doing your best. You are learning. I love you." The first time you say it, you may not believe it. But repeat it daily, and soon the eyes looking back will soften with recognition. The mirror does not judge. It reflects whatever you bring. When you bring love, it reflects beauty. When you bring shame, it reflects pain, but the reflection is never permanent. You decide what the mirror reveals. Every morning you can choose again to see through love. Remember that the voice of self-doubt was learned. It came from others' fears, not your truth. The voice of your soul is gentler. It never says you should have. It says you can still listen for that difference. It is the sound of compassion. Real healing is remembering. remembering that you were never separate from love, remembering that you are whole even in progress, remembering that worth does not fade with mistakes, it grows brighter as you learn to see it. Each time you treat yourself with patience, the old story loses strength. It cannot survive in love's climate. Love does not argue with the past, it transforms it. The moment you speak kindly to yourself, you change the entire narrative. Confidence grows from these moments, not from achievement, but from softness. It is not the applause you earn, it is the peace you return to. Confidence is the memory of innocence returning home to the heart. The younger self within you does not need to be erased. She needs to be included. She was doing her best. She still lives inside you, waiting for your approval. When you comfort her instead of criticize her, you integrate what was divided. You become whole again. Try this. Close your eyes and imagine taking that child's hand. Say, "We are safe now." Feel the relief wash through your body. That warmth is healing. It is love reconnecting the past to the present, weaving them into harmony. Do not rush the process. Healing unfolds in its own time, just as seasons do. You cannot force spring by pulling on the flowers. You can only create conditions where they can bloom. Your self-kindness is the sunshine that makes healing possible. You may notice small shifts. You begin to speak more gently. You breathe more deeply. You stop apologizing for existing. That is the sign that the old story is losing its power. You no longer live through its script. You are writing your own. Every moment of self-kindness reprograms the mind. Love teaches faster than fear ever did. Where guilt once shouted, peace begins to whisper. You are doing fine. And in that whisper, you rediscover confidence. Not loud, but unwavering. You cannot erase your past, but you can bless it. You can look back with gratitude for how far you have come. You can see every experience as a stepping stone toward awareness. Even the painful chapters serve to bring you here, to understanding, to tenderness, to light. You no longer need to carry the old stories like chains. You can place them down now, bless them, and walk forward freely. You have nothing left to prove. The lesson has already been learned. The test is over. The healing has begun. When you meet yourself with compassion, you end the inner war. There is no enemy left to fight. You finally understand that all along the battle was only between your truth and your fear. And truth, once remembered, always wins. So breathe deeply now. Feel the weight lifting. Feel the air filling your lungs without effort. Say quietly, "I forgive myself. I am free to begin again." The moment those words are spoken, the old story loses its voice. The clickly heart becomes storyteller again. From this place of love, confidence grows naturally. It does not need to be forced because it was never missing, only hidden. As you continue to practice kindness toward yourself, that hidden light becomes steady, then radiant. You become your own safe home. You are no longer defined by the fears that raised you. You are defined by the love that now guides you. You have healed the root, not by digging endlessly, but by watering it with compassion until new life appeared. This is what freedom feels like. The past will always exist as memory, but it no longer has authority over your peace. You have learned what it came to teach, that you were always enough even when you didn't know it. Confidence returns now, not as noise, but as quiet belonging. Say softly, "I bless my past for leading me here. I forgive myself for believing I was less. I am willing to see myself with love." Feel the truth of those words settle in your heart. You are not broken. You are blooming into the self you were always meant to remember. Confidence is not something we perform. It is something we live. It does not arrive with applause or vanish with criticism. It is quiet, steady, and rooted deep within the soul. When confidence is real, you no longer need to announce it. It becomes the natural rhythm of your being. The world teaches that confidence must be loud, that it stands tall, commands attention, and never wavers. But the greatest strength is often silent. It moves softly, without rush. Quiet confidence says, "I belong here," without explanation. It is the peace that walks into a room and settles the air. Real confidence is not bravado, it is balance. It is the harmony between humility and self-trust. It is knowing your worth without comparing it to anyone else. You do not have to shine brighter than another. You simply have to stop dimming your own light. When you begin to live from self-approval, your energy changes. You know long